Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned in to another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of not just the news, but answers that you can use. Like an answer to the question, Chris, what's up with this angle? Well, I'm still having problems with the YouTube Live broadcasting tool. It doesn't seem to be working very well. It's an older version of the tool because the newer version of the tool is A, more expensive, and B, did you even know that YouTube charges for that? Because it's actually a rebrand of the Wirecast software that has a known bug with an incompatibility, specifically with my camera that I use usually to live stream. So I'm waiting to see if that resolves itself. But the good news is I was actually troubleshooting last night. I was talking about this particular product last week, the Game Capture HD60. This is from Elgato, which has been a known quantity within the universe of gadgetry for quite a while. I tweeted about this in response to something else or somebody else a couple of weeks ago, and they caught it because I actually had this product and couldn't get it to work for one reason or another. Well, apparently the new version of the software makes it work very, very well. So last night I was testing the live stream using everything that I would normally use except for the YouTube broadcast software that I had been using, and it worked. So Elgato's software works with YouTube, but YouTube's software no longer works with YouTube. It's weird. I know it's an older version of the software, but still. So maybe at some point we'll go back to the old angle. You let me know what you think about this new angle. It's not perfect, I realize, especially because I'm using the webcam and it's not great. I try to lock exposure, and even with software to try to lock exposure in relation to using Google Hangouts, that's how I'm able to broadcast here with this particular webcam. This is how it goes. I'm using the Yeti Blue mic USB. That is not probably the name or title product of Yoda Syntax Full Force is in this morning. This is what happens when I stream live on YouTube. Thanks again to all my super nomies, aka the patrons, for providing support for everything that we're able to do for everybody. More information on this at some point in the future when I actually am using it. In fact, I just ordered last night the I'm specifically talking about the Game Capture HD60, a converter cable to go out of an iPad or an iPhone into HDMI into the converter, so I'll be able to potentially Twitch or YouTube stream games that I'm playing on the iPhone or the iPad. Kind of a neat idea. I've got a couple of thoughts on what I might want to do with that. I'm not saying that I'm going to start twitching necessarily, but we will see. I guess everybody should and could stay tuned for more. It's very difficult for me to play touch optimized games for very long, because especially if they involve a lot of screen time, like touching and swiping, my thumbs get sore like really, really fast. So I almost need like some kind of external control. Oh, I'm reminded that I've been thumping on the desk. I apologize for doing that. I will do my best. I'm just going to hold my arms like this for a little while. Does that help if I just talk like this? It's difficult for an Italian to talk without moving his hands. And you may have caught the social share last night that someone found when we were diving through the related items that I was tweeting last night, the 7 mighty good mugs that will make your morning. Someone found a mug that says, "I'm not yelling, I'm Italian." Well, today's title is 7 Optimus Prime Trinkets that'll transform your life. I am going to try to flip over to that before the AMA thread and before I continue to thump. These are some, in case you didn't know, Optimus Prime things that exist that you can bring into your life. This is a true collectible. It's a Hikari Safubi. I always have to look because I'm never quite sure how I pronunciate the word. Pronunciate's not a word, by the way. I'm making up that word as I go along. It's a collectible. This is kind of collectible. It's an Optimus Prime USB keychain. It's like 3-in-1 right there. A Transformers mug with Optimus Prime on it. This is kind of epic. It's like a classic kind of mug. Nothing terribly special apart from it having Optimus Prime on it. And Optimus Prime Mr. Potato Head. See, back in the day when I was growing up, like they had Mr. Potato Head. That was it. You got a Mr. Potato Head. Now they got a Mr. Potato Head for everything. This is Optimus Prime that's standing on a desk, seemingly in front of a white picket fence with flowers, but that's actually an iPhone case. They have an Optimus Prime iPhone case. Can you believe that? That's an iPhone case. You can have an Optimus Prime iPhone case. Come on. Your iPhone face? Your iPhone face sucks in comparison. You iPhone face. It sounded funny when I first said it. They also have Optimus Prime hoodies, although you're not going to transform necessarily when you roll out wearing one of these. You can get one of your own if you want. The people that see me in my Optimus Prime hoodie always say that I look awesome. Of course, I think they're afraid that if they don't say that, I'm going to smash them, because I think they think that I'm Optimus Prime when I wear that hoodie, but I'm not Optimus Prime when I wear that hoodie. They also have a G1. This is a G1 replica, not the original Optimus Prime Transformers G1 Generation 1, but you can get the replica. This is a collectible item, a collector's item, still in box and brand new. You can still get it. Of course, you can probably still get the original one, too. The problem with that is that it's going to be very, very, very expensive. A little bit of trivia for everybody. I never actually had a Transformer toy, to my knowledge, for my own. I always played with other kids' Transformers. I never really... I thought they looked awesome, but they were kind of clunky for me, and I was never really much of a fan of vehicles as much as I was action figures. I'm much more of an action figure fan. So now I need to tell you about the deals that we got going on today. I mean, just some of the deals, not all the deals necessarily. The Freesdom Ringer Cooler with speaker. It's rather patriotic if you're from America. 16% off at deals.lockergnome.com. Flash storage for virtualization for dummies. And not to say that you have to be a dummy to read that ebook, but it is free, so you kind of be a dummy to pass it up. The MindMeister personal plan, 2-year subscription, 51% off, and the Choose Your Own Premium Android giveaway for free at deals.lockergnome.com. Okay, now on to the AMA. Joe Tashi, and I see Joe pretty much every day when we do our periscopes, which is kind of fun to do. They've kind of evolved. I don't really have any specific, direction that I want to go with the live periscope videos. But I usually tweet out when I start to Periscope, and you can get notifications there or through the app that's now available on both iOS and Android. We've been doing snack times as of late. Although I should let Tony Yoon know that I want to do his spicy noodle challenge sooner rather than later. And I'm thinking possibly even today. It may very well happen. I don't know if it's going to happen live or if it's going to happen in a recorded video, like the vlog. These challenges, I guess, are all the rage. And I know I need to do more challenges. I need to be more like everybody else. I need to be unique, but just like everybody else. I don't understand this crazy world of millennials. I'm a millennial, but I'm closer to the other millennium than, the millennial. I'm saying I'm old. A centurion? I want to be a centurion. One day, I hope to be an octogenarian. And then I'll work on being a centurion. Joe asks, back to Joe, will Diana ever do an AMA? Also, you guys share the vlog cam, or do you each have one and combine the footage? I think Diana could do an AMA. She's done them before in this channel. We could probably stage another one. I don't know exactly how to effectively do it. She's asked in her social feeds before, okay, AMA, and doesn't really receive a lot of questions. What we might do is much like what we do with the Facebook open thread that I do every week. We may just do the same thing in her channel to see what kind of questions come in, and then maybe she can answer, 4 or 5 of them in her next video, because it's easy enough for her to answer questions if they're really good questions that get asked. I do have a couple of backup cameras sent to me by HD Hat. Our link, go.tagtag.com/HDhat if you want to get your own. So she'll usually use one. It records 1080p at 30 frames per second, as opposed to mine, the one that I usually use or have on me. And that's a newer one that records 1080p video at 60 frames per second. Joe Tashi asks, Chris, would you consider placing a shotgun mic just out of frame? I do. That's usually how it is. The shotgun mic is always out of frame, unless you're talking about the behind the scenes when I record videos for the patrons. That's usually in frame because I got the webcam set up on top of the camera that I use. That isn't compatible with everything. I'm horrible when it comes to production. I admit it. I know I could get better. Like the whole thumping on the desk thing. It's because the microphone's sitting on the desk. Would it be better for me to have a boom hanging over here? Sure, but then the boom's hanging overhead, and I don't want to be staring at the boom. This desktop mic, I think it's a condenser. You can even change the cardioid pattern in it. And I couldn't even tell you what the setting is or the optimal setting. I can tell you I got little chiclets on the screen that are going up and down. So that lets me know that volume is coming through. I don't mean to thump. I did the towel that I placed underneath it yesterday. Did that help? I'm asking, my Darth Vader mask right now because nobody's going to answer me outright. Am I the only one who talks to things in his office or his workshop? Maybe I am. I got a couple of Rees back here, including the vintage Rees figure. Why am I showing you my vintage Rees? Because I can. Because I have him. And because that was yesterday's Force Friday countdown item. I didn't have this Rees. That was from the Black Series. Super articulated too, but I didn't have it. Because I had another one that was slightly older. It came with the Star Tours package that I wanted because it had a couple of Ewoks for my Ewok shelf. Well, actually one Ewok and the other one was Teak. Today, it's the Power of the Force Mon Mothma. To my knowledge, that was the only Mon Mothma figure that was ever produced. Not in the vintage line. We're talking the Power of the Force line. I probably have her somewhere, but that would be an action figure I would not be inclined to collect necessarily, unless add value to it. At one point in time, you could get an autographed Mon Mothma figure on Amazon for a certain price. The actress who played Mon Mothma signed it, and it was available, like I said, at one point in time on Amazon.com. Joe asks, hey, Chris, what are your tips for staying focused or even staying focused when you have sporadic energy? Also, if you could change anything about Periscope, what would it be? For me, I would let more people chat since it could get really annoying when you join a broadcast with 500 viewers. Well, I've not had the 500 viewer problem. Usually we top out at right around 200 for the people who tune in to the live broadcasts. For me, staying focused when I have sporadic energy, giving me a topic to go on. I mean, these AMA videos or podcasts are sometimes a bit of a challenge for me because I tend to, go off on a topic and then sometimes I'll get sidetracked and go in another direction. But generally speaking, if I have a focal point, a topic that I need to cover, that is a great way of staying focused. What we're going to be doing moving forward, as much as I want to produce a lot of different videos, I recognize that, I've got to produce videos that I think are going to work well today and then potentially into the future. And as much as I don't want to do that and know full well that a lot of those videos that get recorded will have a shelf life to them, that's the direction I think I'm going to try next. Producing video for the classic channel and coming up with like 7 different things or 7 different reasons, 7 different thoughts, 7 different somethings. And most of those are probably going to be in the realm of technology because for better or for worse, that's what a lot of people want to know about, specifically from me because of my experience. I like talking about it, but I also recognize that it's not the same for me as it is for everybody else. Like it's not exactly my passion. It's an interest, but tech to me is a series of tools. I don't have an emotional attachment, with an iPad. I care for what it does, what it enables. And so, I'm not going to, on any spare moment that I might have, I'm not, drooling over technology. It's not what I do. So I'm going to try to stay focused on 7 points a week on one particular topic or another. So should be starting next week. Those things should be done. They're overdue right now. But 7 reasons I like my Apple Watch, and then a separate video being 7 reasons I don't like my Apple Watch, which I think may very well replace the idea of a review from me. And I think I like that approach rather than doing an all-out review. I've done reviews, of course, and we'll probably continue to do reviews because people search for reviews. But, to me, if I can offer both sides of a coin in talking about a product that I've used, I think, it's a great way of going. So I will likely continue down that path with things that, I'm interested in that I think other people are interested in or might, want to know more about specifically from my perspective, like 7 reasons I like my iMac 5K display Retina thing, and then 7 reasons I don't like it, and then 7 reasons I like my new MacBook, and 7 reasons I don't like it, or 7 reasons I don't want a Samsung Galaxy S6, and then 7 reasons I would want a Samsung Galaxy S6. So, you know, if I can provide when the subject calls for it, provide perspective on both sides, it makes it easy for me. It allows me to stay focused on a topic and really think through what it is that I want to present. So, Joe, it's sometimes just thinking through and knowing and trying to stay on topic. This video, obviously, or this particular media recording is not representative of the type of video that I'm discussing here or trying to discuss with you. Difficult to have a discussion with someone who's maybe watching me live. That's a bonus that all the patrons get. But, you know, I think, you know, knowing what it is that you want to present to somebody is a great way to start. Unless you don't know what you want to present, unless you just want to talk through it, or you just want to go with the general topic and riff from there. So that's usually what I have to do. I come up with a plan of what it is that I want to do and how I want to do it, and then I figure out how to get it done. That sounded very general. Kimberly Johns asks, I think I changed something on my computer by accident. Every time I go to search for something, it takes me to eBay. Unless I go to the search bar at the top of the page, type in Bing, and then go from there. Is there any way to change it back to being able to search normally? Sounds like you've got a search provider change. I don't know which browser you use. Restoring defaults would probably be the first answer. If you do restore defaults and it's still passing you to eBay, you may have some kind of other thing installed that rewrote your something in your browser such that you're getting redirected to something else. My question, I've got a couple of questions actually. One, which browser are you using? Two, what does that search provider in that browser go to when you go to the settings? And three, if you launch another web browser on that computer, does it take you to the same search page or to its own default page? So there are a few things that you need to do in order to walk through or to troubleshoot this particular issue. My guess is that you're not infected with anything. Chances are you just accidentally swapped search providers. It can happen. Is it fixable? Absolutely. Restoring defaults, or depending on which browser you use, it is a very a simple task. Quite honestly, it's super simple in any web browser, assuming that you just accidentally misclicked and set a different search provider. Austin, if I understand the question correctly, or that's my perspective, that's how I'd answer it. Austin asks, hey, Chris, what do you expect from WWDC come next week? Are you excited? Have a good weekend, Austin Grant. Well, Austin, you're asking a great question. I have already addressed it specifically for you and for patrons, talking about my thoughts on iOS 9, OS 10, 10, 11, what I hope to see at WWDC. You'll find that in the list that we send out a link to a spreadsheet every single day to the patrons that you can get like a lineup. You can see exactly what we plan on, what we have covered in the past you can search for, and you can see what we plan on covering for that particular week. So you can get all the live links, all the Q&A, everything that you might need is accessible from that specific spreadsheet that's only available to patrons. So Austin, I have answered your question. So I don't really want to answer it again here because that was a patron exclusive. And you are a patron, so you've got that as an exclusive. So I don't want to water that down for everybody else, and certainly want to let you know that it's available. The WWDC broadcast, live simulcast, I'll be doing on Monday. We'll likely be live streaming it into YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to be using the Elgato capture on that one. I don't think it's going to be the wrong way of doing things. We'll see. It's relatively new, so I'd hate for it to kind of go kaput on me. The backup is going to be periscoping, and so I'm probably going to simulcast Periscope as well as the live YouTube video, and people can decide where they want to tune in from there. Barry, and oh, by the way, I tend to go to the next question and then I think, oh, I need to say something else. The only thing that's really keeping me from wanting to use the Elgato right now is that it really drives up the fan in my system. And even with the microphone set completely apart from everything else, it still picks up a massive amount of fan noise in terms of how everything's set up and how I'm using things. So I'm actually speaking with someone from Elgato about that. I'm like, it's pegging the system And this is the same. I didn't have issues. Like I'm doing a Hangout. Can you hear the fan? Hardly. It's hardly perceivable. So it's not that it can't handle the video crunching. It's just for whatever reason, Elgato is processing it differently, and it's pegging the system. So that is one concern. I don't want to introduce a lot of fan noise if I can at all help it. That's one of the things that's keeping me from wanting to switch to that outright. Barry asks, based on the cars you've tested so far, which one would Darth Vader drive? The Genesis. The Genesis was fun. That was a luxury car, though. I would love to, drive a luxury car, every day. That's not going to happen. Right now, we're a few car reviews behind. The next car review should be posted at some point today or over the weekend, trying to post a new one every single week there in the Classic channel since they seem to be going over quite well. Steve Mannering asks, recent headline on Reuters, U.S. plan to cede internet domain control is on track. Do you see this as a good or a bad decision? The internet is global. And as much as it could be worrisome for people who are used to more control from the U.S., the internet is a different country unto its own. I think it should it be subject to rules and regulations? No and yes. I think some people and entities need to be protected. But at the same time, the internet is almost in need of almost having its own United Nations of sorts. I think it needs to be ruled by a consortium that's multinational, because quite honestly, the internet is multinational. It doesn't belong to any one country. It doesn't belong to any one entity. It doesn't belong to any one company. It belongs to the world, and it's tearing down borders. And I think the more that even internet domain control and ICANN, as much as it's worked to this point, I can't help but believe that from a global perspective, we'd be better served by removing a lot of U.S. control that might exist in relation to the internet, and bringing it to the globe, because it already belongs to the globe. Brian H. Had a more complex question before, but I think I'll keep it simple this week. Have you heard about LEGO Worlds? Yes, I have. On Steam yet? Covered it in TLDR the other day. I'm a little behind on the videos. No problem this week. So I might have missed if you addressed it. I did. And he explains. Basically, it's LEGO Minecraft. Sounds like something I can get behind. Minecraft didn't really interest me, but LEGO certainly does. Kidults unite. Amen to that. So yes, I have heard of LEGO Worlds. And I jokingly said, I'm thinking about getting a dedicated PC just to play LEGO Worlds on Steam, the beta, because I can. I thought about running it through my Surface Pro 3. I'm more inclined to get like a gaming type of laptop, a PC, a full-on Windows PC. Yes, you heard me correctly. Not necessarily a Mac, a full-on Windows PC, just to play LEGO Worlds on Steam, because I can, and because I want to. And because it would be fun. Again, I'm probably more inclined to actually have like the actual Lego bricks there rather than virtual Lego bricks. But I think it's very interesting to me, even though I never really got into a lot of the Lego games, like the Lego Star Wars or Lego other Lego games in the franchise, like Lego Superheroes. That interested me briefly, but it just wasn't interesting at the same time. So I wonder if LEGO Worlds is going to take that interest to a completely different level. Not just being able to build and click with the bricks, in the browser window, but potentially at some point, actually have built something or get a model that I can print out or play with. That fascination for me, much like with Minecraft, it's less about the virtual constructs and more about the physical construct. I'm an action figure collector, so I like the Lego minifigures. I'm a fan of the Lego minifigures outright, not necessarily just Lego. I like the Lego ethos certainly, but I want to try. I want to play. Well, you can too, but I think you're a little too young for that kind of thing, Jedi. She was here for a moment, screamed, and now she's gone. That's usually how it goes with a lot of people who tune into my videos. That's really a par for the course. Steve Mannering asks, at the end of one of Lamar Wilson's videos, he mentions that pressing the thumbs up button is important to him, but rushed through a very brief explanation. Will you explain why voting thumbs up is important to YouTube content creators? I thought revenue was all about how many views a video got, regardless of how many people voted. It's true, but it's also, the number of people who actually like the video. It provides social engagement, for one. Two, it shows just how much you actually care about the video that you're watching or listening to. Three, it's potential for a social velocity. You may have your Twitter account connected to it or your Facebook account connected to it. So when you like something, the people who follow you are going to find out you liked it. And then potentially search volume. Like YouTube may look at that as a metric and go, well, a lot of people like this video. Chances are it's better than this other video that might be about the same topic. So we're going to surface it in search a little higher than the other videos because a lot of people liked it. They took the time to actually like the video. To me, forget search volume, forget, the social stuff. For me, a like on the video just says that you appreciated the effort. That's it. You appreciated the effort. That's all. And it's so insanely simple to do, and so many people just don't do it. It's so simple to do. I don't know how long I've been talking through this AMA, through this particular TLDR, but I guarantee the amount of time I spent talking through everything that we talked about today is, dramatically, more time than it takes to actually press a like button. So if you like the effort, press the like button. I don't know Lamar's reasons specifically. I can only guess, as I just have, but I can just tell you the reason why I really like and really appreciate when people take the effort to say, yes, I liked your effort. Thank you very much. So that's a great last question here to share with you. Again, hope everybody can join us for TLDR on Monday, where we're doing the WWDC simulcast. It will be replacing TLDR for Monday. So that means the open AMA thread from Facebook will take place on Tuesday. Thanks again, everybody, for paying attention. Thanks again for your support in whatever way that you see fit to give it. I do appreciate all the patrons, all of my super nomies. And because of that, I'm going to roll into the live patron hangout as we do every single weekday. We're going to try something different. It'll actually be in the same video, in the same broadcast, that if you're not a patron, you won't be able to see it. You won't be able to hear it. We'll have to make note of the timestamp for the podcast and for editing out that part. So it's just going to remain a patron bonus. More time. I want to give you more of my time, because you've given me more of your life. I want to give you more of mine. Thanks again for your support. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, but not really necessarily if you're a patron and you're tuned in for the hangout.